Streets have turned into wind tunnels, battering residents as they make a desperate dash for safety. The wind is a physical force, with gusts reaching up to 191 km/h along the east coast. The air is a chaotic mix of howling gales and the relentless drumming of torrential rain. We're seeing catastrophic flooding in low-lying areas. Cars are completely submerged, tossed about like toys in the murky, rising water. Authorities have evacuated over 8,000 people from their homes as the storm continues its relentless assault. This is a scene of incredible power. A major dam is overflowing, unleashing a torrent of water downstream. Warning sirens are blaring, a desperate attempt to alert anyone in the path of this new threat. We're getting reports of at least 33 injuries and 1 person missing. The storm surge is relentless, with raging waves crashing ashore and flooding coastal communities. Debris is everywhere, a testament to the storm's destructive power. The typhoon is moving at a steady 27 km/h, with sustained winds of 155 km/h, offering no respite to the battered island. Rescue teams are battling the elements, wading through chest-deep water to reach stranded residents. You can hear their urgent shouts over the roar of the wind and crashing waves. With hundreds of flights canceled, Taiwan is cut off as it endures the full force of Typhoon Podul. The psychological toll is immense. We're seeing people huddled on sidewalks, paralyzed by fear as the storm rages around them. The sustained winds of 155 km/h are disorienting, turning familiar cityscapes into terrifying landscapes. For many, there's nowhere to go and no choice but to endure the onslaught. The flooding has now breached underground structures. Parking garages have become swirling pools, with cars floating and crashing into each other. The sound is a deafening chorus of blaring car alarms and rushing water, a stark reminder of the immense financial and personal losses mounting by the minute. The wind's fury is unimaginable. It's strong enough to rip doors from their hinges and tear roofs from buildings, sending debris flying like missiles. People are not safe, even in their own homes. The wind gusts, peaking at 191 km/h, are shredding everything in their path. We're receiving reports from across the region of similar scenes. Streets turned to muddy torrents, vehicles washed away, and homes flooded. With 1 person still reported missing, the human cost of Typhoon Podul is tragically mounting as the storm continues to batter Taiwan. This is a situation of extreme danger and devastation. The scale of the flooding is becoming clearer. Entire neighborhoods are inundated. We're seeing streets where the water is so high, only the roofs of cars are visible. The sound is a constant churning roar of water. Over 8,000 people have been forced from their homes, seeking shelter from these rising tides. The human element of this tragedy is heartbreaking. People are wading through powerful, murky currents, trying to salvage what little they can. Every step is a risk. We have confirmed reports of at least 33 injuries, and that number is expected to climb as the storm continues its brutal assault. Looking out from a sheltered position, the world has disappeared into a maelstrom of wind and water. The glass is shaking violently from the force of the wind, which has been clocked at gusts up to 191 km/h. The sound is a deafening, terrifying roar, a constant reminder of the storm's immense power. There is no safe place on the streets. Debris flying everywhere, turning roads into lethal corridors. The typhoon continues its relentless westward march across the island at 27 km/h, giving no one a moment of respite. Meanwhile, search and rescue operations are hampered by the conditions as they search for one person who remains missing. This is the raw power of the storm. A river has completely breached its banks, turning into a muddy, raging torrent that is swallowing everything in its path. The sheer volume of water is terrifying. Authorities have evacuated over 8,000 people, and with one person still missing and more than 30 injured, the fear is that these numbers will rise. The scene from any vantage point is one of apocalyptic flooding. We're looking down on what was a bustling residential area, now a muddy, debris-choked lake. Cars are piled against buildings, tossed aside by the sheer force of the water. With over 8,000 people evacuated, this is a community displaced, facing an uncertain future. The human cost is stark and immediate. People are trapped, standing on railings and any high ground they can find as the floodwaters surge around them. One person has fallen into the torrent, a terrifying reminder of the danger. The wind continues to howl, with gusts still reaching a punishing 191 km/h in some areas. Even heavy machinery is being deployed to clear blocked bridges, a desperate fight against the rising water. Onlookers watch from the sidelines, a mix of fear and disbelief on their faces. The crisis is ongoing, with one person still missing and at least 33 reported injured across the island. The sound of the raging river is a constant, terrifying backdrop. What was once farmland is now a vast, muddy lake. Entire fields are submerged, power lines are down, and the landscape is unrecognizable. This is the brutal reality for rural communities in the typhoon's path. With over 8,000 people evacuated and one person still unaccounted for, the scale of this displacement is immense. The destructive power is relentless. We're seeing a bridge's support structures being battered and washed away by the sheer force of the engorged river. The sustained winds of 155 km/h are adding to the chaos, tearing at everything that is still standing. This is a storm that is not just passing through, it is tearing the infrastructure apart. The scene is one of absolute inundation. A parking lot has been turned into a watery grave for dozens of vehicles. This is the stark reality behind the evacuation of over 8,000 people. From windows above, residents can only watch as the floodwaters continue to rise. The satellite view tells the whole story, a massive, swirling vortex of power making its way across Taiwan. On the ground, the results are catastrophic. The final toll is still being counted, but with one person missing, over 30 injured, and thousands of lives disrupted, the impact of Typhoon Podul will be felt long after the winds have subsided. In another part of the city, the water remains dangerously high. We're seeing a white car almost completely swallowed by the flood, a lone testament to the street that once existed here. With one person still reported missing, there's a desperate fear that they may be trapped in a vehicle just like this one. This is not just water. It's a river of mud and debris flowing with incredible force through a residential street. The typhoon, moving at a relentless 27 km/h, is churning up the landscape and sending it crashing through homes. The sound is a deep, terrifying rumble of destruction. Don't look away. This is the reality of our planet's rage. To witness the unfiltered truth and get daily reports on the natural disasters shaping our world, hit that subscribe button for Earth Rage and turn on all notifications. Like this video to help the story reach more people.